Ganaman fans, welcome back to a brand new Metacast video. That's right, it is February, it is 2025, and we have had a meta shift. That's right, it is all down to one card. It is, you know, Budew. That's right, beware the Budew with its Itchy Pollen move. That's right, who printed this card? Who thought this was a good idea? For 0 energy and 10 damage, you can lock out the items. You can item lock your opponent on turn 2 going first. Unbelievable. You can slow down so many decks and ruin people's lives. And there's been a bit of a meta shift. We are going to look at the top 10 decks for this month. I am super excited to show you my list. I have looked at lots of online data. I have looked at tournament results in Japan, and I've watched other YouTubers' videos to see what they think. And here is my top 10 list for the prismatic format of February 2025. Let's get it on. So, in at number 10, we have Terapagos Box. Terapagos and friends. I'm not quite sure what to make of this deck. It's a bit of a binder drop. So what we've got is we've got the minion, obviously, to find those supporter cards you need. We've got Terapagos there to get lots of Pokemon down and obviously get the damage on. We've got some poison going on, obviously, for the one copy of Cloth that we've got. We've got Radiant Sneasler to wrap up the damage. We've got versatility for draw, Oranguru to look for some tool cards, Latios EX for the free retreat, and then we've got Iron Valiant with its Tech Bits ability, which enables you to obviously swing it into the active and then put 2 damage counters on something. Great for taking down a Drifloon or maybe a Scream Tail or even a little annoying Buddy Budew that you can obviously put 2 damage counters on and claim a free prize very quickly. Iron Bundles there for a quick spin if you want to make your opponent switch like an old escape rope style card. And then we've got the usual amount of trainers, Chorus's Tenacity to look for an energy and a stadium. We've got area 0 under depths for obviously good reason to ramp up the damage for Terapagos there. We've obviously got the 4 copies of double turbo energy, and our ace spec of choice is obviously Precious Trolley. If you get Terapagos down, you get an area 0 under depths. You can potentially be looking for 6 or 7 Pokemon on that turn. Absolutely busted. So yes, this deck's done quite well. It's not seen as much play as it could have seen, but it just creeps in there at number 10. It requires quite a high skill ceiling or quite a high skill level, so good luck if you want to play this. Not the deck for me. It's just got so much going on and it's just a bit, I don't know, you're kind of in top deck mode all the time. There's no real consistency. There's no kind of draw engine. So yeah, if you want to play it, go for it, but not my cup of tea. But there you go. Yeah, so that's my number 10. Let's see what's in at number 9. Okay, in at number 9, we've got Gholdengo. That's right, yes, Gholdengo with a little hint, with a little help from Lugia VSTAR. So let's break it down. Obviously, your ace spec is the Energy Search Pro. You thin out your deck and find loads of energy to then start ramping up the damage. I like this deck because it's got a bit of consistency, discarding a card, draw 1. If it's in the active, you draw 2 with Gholdengo. Really good. Lugia is just brilliant to kind of get the water energy out the discard, get it onto potentially something like Radiant Greninja or even Palkia itself to do some kind of high class damage there. If you haven't got all the energy you need, you've got Monkey Dory there, attach a dark energy, take some energy off something. And then you've got obviously Radiant Greninja there for consistency, and obviously everyone plays versatility with Flip the Script. You know how that works. When a Pokemon's knocked out, draw 3. Trainers, you've obviously got the Energy Search Pro. We've got some counter catchers. The usual stuff, Buddy Poffin to get the Gimme Ghouls down and some Nest Balls, Boss's Orders, the usual stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary. This deck's done alright. It doesn't do very well against decks like Iron Thorns. It doesn't do very well against decks like Charizard and Gardevoir, but it does very well against things like Dragapult and other decks that you can obviously start ramping up the energy, or anything kind of with big HP. It does very well against. It's had some good results, but it is not the deck for me. I'm off to obviously EUIC at the end of the month. I'm very, very excited for that. There's a couple of smaller tournaments going on. As you can see here, this doesn't play Budew. It does get locked out a little bit by it, particularly when you want to get that Energy Search Pro. So I would go first with this deck and try and get as much energy as you can. But yeah, there we are. Not a bad deck, but not my favourite. So that's why it gets my number 9. Let's see what comes in at number 8. Okay guys, in at number 8 we have got, well, look at this. No, it is a Charizard, but it's not as you expect it. It's Charizard Dragapult. Unfortunately, thanks to Budew, Charizard Pidgeot just falls off the map. You can't use your rare candies, you can't use your Buddy Poffins, you can't use your Ultra Balls. It just falls by the wayside. However, this deck has done quite well, because if you think about it, you have got your own copy of Budew, you've got Rotom, you've got Dragapult in there to obviously start doing some damage, and then you've got a small Charizard line to help you there obviously get some damage out. Now you've got a choice here. You could play Grand Tree, that works quite well with Dragapult. However, the Dracoloaks are really good for consistency. But my choice for an expect is Hero's Cape. It puts you out of reach of those Pokemon that just want to smack you with unlimited damage. So things like Ceruledge there, your things like your Lugia decks where you've got Chinchino, they're relying on more energy, using more resources. Hero's Cape is very, very good. You've got the Alakazam as well, obviously the Radiant one, to move some damage counters around. This deck's pretty good. It's got a nice bit of consistency. Get those Dragapults down early. You've got a Terra Orb to look for that, or look for a Zard if you need one. Obviously you can put a Charizard down, you can then charge up the Charizard, and then you can obviously slap an energy on a Dragapult, attach a Psychic Energy, and then off you go. You're pretty much cooking. You can attack with Charizard or with Dragapult. It can be a little bit slow and clunky at times, but once it gets going, it's a fantastic choice. And obviously, because you're playing two two Stellar Pokemon, if you wanted to, you could put a copy of Briar in there as well. That could be a nice addition to take 2 or 3 prizes to win the game. Up to you. This is my 60. Let me know what you think. Right, guys, let's move on to number 7. Right, in at number 7, what a fall from grace. My goodness, it's Regidrago. It is still an incredible deck, but it just hates that little guy. It hates Budew. We all know it. It hates it. Some Regidrago decks are playing even their own copy of Budew, but Budew just shuts this down. It stops your Ultra Balls, it stops your Earthen Vessels, but more importantly, it stops your energy switches, making it incredibly hard for you to get your Regidragos up and running, and potentially even getting Dragon cards in your discard. This is the solid 60. It's the 60 that's won tournament after tournament. Cleffa could be replaced with its own Budew, but like I was saying, if you're going first and then you get item locked, you are in a lot of trouble when you are just in top deck mode, or you are having to play your V-Star ability, your Legacy Star, to discard 7 and then try and get something off of that. Still a fantastic deck, still a fantastic choice for any tournament coming up before rotation. Will it see its final swan song at EUIC, or even some tournaments coming up potentially after that, before rotation at the end of March? Who knows? All I know is this deck is not as good as it used to be, but it is still a fantastic choice if you feel comfortable and you feel like you can dodge those Budews. Anyway, this is my number 7. We've seen this 60 before. Let me know what you think in the comments and whether you agree with me, but now we're going to move on to number 6. Okay guys, in number 6, we've got Ceruledge EX. This deck packs a punch. Yes, it's all about getting those energies in the bin and hitting maximum damage. So you have got a cheeky little line, 1-2 line there of Palkia VSTAR. Why? You ask me? Because it is just great for charging up things like Radiant Greninja to smack 90 to the bench, or 90 to the active. It is great if you haven't quite got enough energy in the bench, but you've got the bin, but you've got like a full bench of Pokemon. Your opponent's got a full bench. You could be smacking a lot of damage very early on. Obviously, Ceruledge is brilliant. For 1 energy, it does 20 per energy in the discard. So if you've got 16 of your 19 energies in the bin, you are knocking out things like Charizard, Dragapult, all the big Pokemon in the format. All the big stage 2s. This deck has seen some pretty good success. It plays a copy of Budew, as we've seen. Squawkabilly is really good in it. If you've got a handful of energy, you get Squawk down turn 1, get rid of those energy, draw a new hand, and off you go. Briar is a nice addition in this deck, obviously, to try and take 2 or 3 prizes. This is a nice cheeky little deck that has seen some upturn in recent tournament results, and one that I think you need to keep an eye out for. Right, let's move on to number 5. Okay, in at number 5, we've got a Miraidon. Yes, Miraidon recently won the Late Night 268 last week, I believe. It's still a fantastic deck. It is the turbo deck of choice. You want to go first with this deck because you don't want to be item locked turn 2. Okay, so you get the Iron Hands down. You want to take Budew with that Iron Hands, take 2 prizes. That's right, Miraidon's great to get the Pokemon down. The Magnemite and Magneton is brilliant. Blow it up, let your opponent take a prize, search for 3 energy. The Pikachu is obviously your kind of stellar Pokemon of choice to extend your bench. You've got the Latios there for obviously retreating Pokemon, the Zapdos for extra damage, you got the Fez for draw, you've got Mew EX to mimic other Pokemon and draw. I mean, this is just a big basic deck. Ryoku V there for obviously quick damage there, and obviously a little bit of draw. You've got the Arvans, the bosses. It's just a fantastic deck. The Bravery Charm is brilliant if you smack it onto something like Iron Hands and Rhydon to give yourself just a bit more HP to escape things like Dragapult, sprinkling damage counters on you. This is a fantastic deck. If you like turbo decks, if you don't want to play an evolution deck and you want to get going quickly and potentially not too worry about being item locked, I mean, don't get me wrong, it stops your electric generators, but apart from that, it's not too bad. We're not playing that many item cards. So yes, why is the A-Spec secret box? Because it gets you what you need. Discard 3 cards and then it gets you what you need. You can search for a stadium, an item, and obviously a supporter and a tool card as well. Fantastic when you are in a bit of a pinch. Right guys, this is number 5. Let's see what comes in at number 4. In at number 4, my god, this deck, it stopped me getting day 2 at Birmingham. I was gutted. It is Archaludon EX. This deck, my goodness, just came out from nowhere for me. I'd never played it before. I knew it was around, seen it online, but my god, it's a scary deck. You play Duraludon there, the 130 HP one. You start putting energy on it, then you play Archaludon there, you use its ability there to get 2 energy from the discard and attach those 2 energy to any Pokemon that you like. It can charge itself up very quickly and be smacking you for 220 damage, and then it's got 300 HP on a stage 1 Pokemon. I remember when we had Duraludon VMAX, that had only 30 more HP, and that was 3 prizes. This is only a 2 prizer. And then the creme de la creme of this deck, before it rotates, we've got the Orange Inform Dialga VSTAR with its, oh my god, what a absolutely disgusting move. Star Chronos for 5 energy, you do 220 damage, and then you get an additional turn. Oh my god, what is that? It was done to me a couple of times in Birmingham and it cost me to lose. I was gutted. And then we've got Relicath there. Obviously, Relicath is good for its memory dive ability. I think it's called memory dive, where obviously you can go back and use Duraludon's Raging Hammer move, which obviously does 80 damage and then 10 more damage for each damage counter on it. If you've got Archaludon there, you are smacking a lot of damage with this huge HP. You can get energy in the bin with Radiant Greninja, Fez to draw 3. You've got your researches there to discard. Iono there for a bit of hand disruption. Thornton is really good, but the thing that annoys me the most, oh my goodness, the Scoop Up Cyclone and the Professor's Turo. This card, I was getting like to 270, 280, just about to knock them out and win the game. And then, oh my god, they'd scoop them up, and that's it. The Pokemon was gone. I was so cross. And then obviously the energy goes in the bin. They slap another Archaludon down, and then they recharge it as if that nothing's happened. A fantastic deck going into EUIC. It's not perfect. It has a couple of sticky matchups, but it's very, very good. If you like a deck that is quite easy to play and can annoy your opponents with the scoop ups, this is the deck of choice. A good call at number 4. Right then, let's see what's number 3. Okay, guys, in at number 3, we have got Dragapult Dusknoir. My god, this deck is filthy. Filthy! Yes, you've got your Dreepies, you know how this works. You've got your Dragapult, you know what that does. And then you've got your Dusknoirs and Dusclops that explode and sprinkle even more damage counters down. You are looking to win the game in 4 to 5 turns. Blow up, destroy, Dragapult, smack. Obviously, the ace spec is the Sparkling Crystal. Reduces your energy cost for your Phantom Dive down to 1. 200 damage for 1 energy, and then sprinkling 6 damage counters is disgusting. You've got Budew there to cause some early game item lock. Obviously, you've got things like Technical Machine Evolution to evolve and get some early evolutions going. You've got your Dracoloaks there for consistency. Alakazam moving the damage counters round. Oh, and a nice addition. This card has never really seen much play until now, but Lance from Silver Tempest lets you search for 3 dragon Pokemon. Really good. If you are item locked and you find this, it will enable you to maybe find your Dragapult or your Dracoloak. And obviously, you know how the Duskulls and the Dusclops and the Dusknoirs work. A filthy deck that's done very well in online tournaments recently. Will it do well? Will it make day 2s and some tournaments coming up? We've got a Puerto Rico special event coming up, and obviously EUIC on the 20th of February. Will this deck do well? Oh my gosh, will it? I'm considering it, playing it myself. Right, that's enough from this one. Let's see what's number 2. Oh my goodness, here we go. Lugia VSTAR. It's made a final comeback just before it rotates on the 28th of March. This deck is just fantastic. I've been playing this deck for years. I know exactly how it works, and I thoroughly enjoy playing this deck. It does so much. However, what annoys me so much with this deck is the consistency. 1 in 3 to 4 games, it just bricks. I played it at EUIC last year, and I bricked. That is the thing that puts me off with this deck. However, if you get the Archeops going, if you are able to get them in the discard and you're not item locked, let's say through Budew, then you are cooking. You've got the Cincino with the, putting the special energy on 70 damage per special energy with its special roll or boil or move, whatever it's called. You've obviously got Luminion there to search for a supporter card. You've got Blood Moon Ursulana there to do 240. You've got Wellspring Ogerpon there, which goes really well with the Legacy Energy to obviously do 100 damage and then 120 to the bench. The new addition is the Regigigas, getting 4 energy on it, and then you are doing an additional 230 damage if it is a Stellar Pokemon. Taking down the Charizards, taking down the Dragapults, taking down the Terapagos. There's loads and loads, Pikachus even. There's loads of Pokemon you can take down with this Regigigas. Obviously, the Iron Hands is great for obviously taking out little Pokemon and doing additional damage there, and taking additional prizes. And then we're playing 16 energy, my god, because that's a problem. As soon as you get rolling, you get the energy on, you are worried you are going to run out of energy, particularly for things like the Cincino or even Regigigas there with 4 energy on it. Fantastic deck. As long as you can look past the consistency issues, you will be losing a couple of games. This deck, I think, is going to make a lot of day 2. I think it's going to be pushing potentially 10% at tournaments coming up. It is still a fantastic deck. Will it get its last big tournament win before it rotates? I think it might. I so want to play this one more time, but I'm just so worried about the consistency. So there we go, Lugia VSTAR, you know how it works. Let's see what my top deck is for this current Prismatic Evolutions format, and it is... Yes, that's right, in at number 1, yes, Gardevoir EX. This deck is just so good, so good. You've got the Curliers there for the consistency, use them before they rotate. You've got the Monkey Dories to get damage off when you put energy on things and spread it around the board. Fluttermane is great to stop abilities. The Drifloon with a rare Bravery Charm can do so much damage. It can do anything up to like 300 damage. You've got Budew there to slow people down. You've got the Screamtails to do damage on the bench. You've got Radiant Greninja to get energy into the bin, and then you've got Unfair Stamp to really slow your opponents down. My mate is going to be playing this at EUIC, and he's done very well with it. It is a fantastic deck. I'm even tempted to play it myself. It's still quite slow to play. You've got to be careful in those best of 3s. You really want to be winning game 1. but it is a fantastic deck, and I highly recommend, if you have the cards, to potentially look to play this. This will be making a lot of day 2s coming up, and it will be pushing that kind of 12-13% band, I reckon. If you want to counter this deck, look at potentially playing again another card, Drapion V for the dark damage. But apart from that, this is a fantastic deck and my #1 choice for the current Prismatic Evolutions format. Right guys, there we go, let's review. Thank you very much for watching, guys. This is my top 10 decks for February 2025 for the current Prismatic Evolutions format. That's even if you can get any Prismatic Evolutions, but that's a tale for another day. Guys, thank you very much. I'm so looking forward to playing at the EUIC on the 20th of February. Let me know in the comments what you think the best deck is. Do you agree with my choices? Do you think that Gardevoir should be #1? Do you think that maybe I should have included Charizard Pidgeot? It's not in the top 10 for the first time in God knows how long. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, guys, thank you so much for supporting the DTMS channel. If you've enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. It means so much. We finally hit 3,000 subs. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to the next one, and as always, I look forward to hearing your comments and your thoughts on the current Pokemon TCG meta for February 2025. Until next time, guys, I look forward to hearing from you again soon. Take care and all the best.